Brother and lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Now, we're going to be diving into Mikel Arteta, Edu's comments on the transfer window. Edu confirming that there is a lot to do in this transfer window, and actually more opportunities are going to manifest themselves for Arsenal, and we will take them. We will grab them and take them this summer. Mikel Arteta saying he's very happy with the possibility and what we've done already. And he says, but it is not yet over. Mikel has been speaking ahead of our game versus Chelsea today in the Florida Cup final. We'll talk about Nuno Tavares. Now, apparently Atlanta have been very close to signing Nuno Tavares, but Arsenal are still very, very strong on a release. Sorry, not really on a release clause, but on a buy obligation or buy option. Arsenal do not want a buy option. They actually want to sell the player straight away or loan him out with a dry loan. We're going to be diving into that as well. Martin Odega has spoken. He wants the captaincy. If he has said, if Mikel Arteta decides to make me the captain, I'm 100% absolutely okay. And PSV have just released their stance on selling Cody Gakpo. They do not want to sell. The reason is they're still into the qualifying rounds of the UEFA Champions League, so they prefer to keep their players. And I'm now not very surprised that the likes of Nodi Mukiele, the likes of Ibrahim Sangare, the likes of Okan Kokun, the likes of Cody Gakpo have not left the club as well. They're still waiting to see whether they can qualify for the UEFA Champions League. I think they have Monaco in both legs. Can they go through? Interesting to see what will happen in that one. Hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 800 likes. Subscribe to the podcast as well, as we are very close to 56,000 subscribers. Now, let's get into it. Let's start off with Edu has been speaking around our transfer situation and our transfer strategy at the moment, and he said, look, there is still a lot of work to do at the moment, but we are in the middle of the transfer window and things can really happen. We are prepared for every situation because opportunities maybe can happen and we will actually take them. That is Edu right there on our Arsenal's transfer situation at the moment. Of course, the people are really asking, journalists are really asking whether there are more signings incoming, and that was Edu's answer to that question. Are there more signings happening at Arsenal? Are there more incomings at the club? And he says at the moment we are in the middle of the transfer window, guys. You do not expect us to be out of it. Much more work is there to be done, and we're gonna do it when opportunities come. We will actually grab them by the horns. And I think that is a very smart answer from the Brazilian technical director. I think, look, just like Ben Jacobs said, I think that was in the last 10 hours, the more the transfer window is dying off, the more opportunities you have to sign players, because that is when clubs feel such and such a player is not going to commit with us. So it is better to sell him rather than keep him. You know, in June, July, there is more time to convince players to sign new contracts. For example, Leicester City could think, probably in June, we can't tell Yuri Tielemans, we can convince Yuri Tielemans to sign a new deal. But when it comes to August, there is no time for that. There is no time for hoping. It is doing business. You either sell him or you lose him on a free next summer. And look, it's the same situation with a couple of other players. Memphis Depay at Barcelona, Leroy Sané at Bayern. When the transfer window is going into the evening, clubs are making final decisions, and also clubs are trying to balance their books. They brought in players. For example, Arsenal, we've done a lot of work in terms of incomings. So during the end of the transfer window, that is when we will be selling, and all clubs interested in our players will be on an absolute, journey to buy players, or not even on a bargain, but I think they will be confident to sign players from Arsenal. If you want Pepe, if you want Bellerin, if you want Torreira, it is going to be towards the end of the transfer summer. So right now we are mid of the transfer window. Edu says we are not done yet. Lots of work needs to be a lot of work is going to be done, and definitely you do not expect us at the moment to be out of it. Now, Mikel has also been speaking around Arsenal's transfer situation as well, and he said at the moment it is very exciting. He said, I'm very happy I think we are completing what we actually planned. There is still a few things that we would like to complete doing in and out. We have to do a number of incomings, but we cannot share it at the moment. That is Mikel Arteta. They're speaking on what Arsenal are planning in terms of incomings. And I think with Mikel, just like Edu, I mean, this is a very, very tight situation for Arsenal. You cannot reveal what you're doing as a club at the moment, and also you want to keep it very, very exciting. Although they have kept it under the radar, the likes of Charles Watts, Chris Whitley, and a couple of other journalists that were breaking the stories are no longer doing so. But I think it's been very exciting. I mean, can you imagine Arsenal chasing a ghost winger? Because we've done that all summer, we've done that all season. All summer. We are chasing a ghost winger now. After Rafinha rejected Arsenal and went on to Barca, we are now chasing a ghost winger. It is ridiculous, but very, very exciting. So Mikel says he's very, very happy with what we've done. At the moment, there is still a lot of work to do, and he says we will actually try to get those deals done. He says here that there's still a few things we would like to do in and out. We have a number of incomings that we want, but we cannot share it at the moment. But of course, we know, although Mikel is trying to hide it here, but we understand that a winger is a priority now. Yuri Tielemans, the leverage to get him. We have more leverage on Yuri Tielemans as the window is closing, and Arsenal not interested in signing any other central midfielder. So Tielemans, a winger, a left-sided centre-back is on the radar, as well as a right back. Now, that one for a right back, I will not be 100% sure, but I'll say I'll say here that according to Damage Chef, Sky Sports, Arsenal could sign in a right winger who could strengthen in that area, and also at right back. And David Ornstein has already told us that Kyle Walker-Peters, keep your eyes very open. Remember, it was in May when David Ornstein came out and said, at the moment, Arsenal want a number 10, and all of us thought we have Odega, who needs a number 10, and then we finally signed Fabio Vieira, and all of us said, and many people actually forgot that the Athletic had put out that information. It was the Athletic that put out the information that Arsenal were trying to sign a number 10 this summer and strengthen in that area. You remember, you still remember I reported about that. And then, so a right back, Kyle Walker-Peters is on the radar up there. I think if the contract situation fails, and if Arsenal feel like they have more money to spend on a right back, then Kyle Walker-Peters is one to keep our eyes very, very keen on. But at the moment, Mikel is happy and we are happy as well. More incomings are coming. Now, going on to what Mikel Arteta has also spoken around Saka and William Saliba. He has said at the moment contract talks are always private, and what we are discussing with players is also very, very private. It is something we cannot do. It's something we cannot share with the media right now. But he says we are building a team for the future, and those names are really important to us. Interesting, very, very interesting. Mikel Arteta on William Saliba and Bukayo Saka. Contract situations are very, very private. What we discuss with players cannot be released in any way, shape, or form. But notice, those names are very, very important to us as we are building a team, a young team for the future. Now, I don't know where the future goes. I don't know whether the future is going to be 10 years or 5 years or 3 years. Actually, I think according to Fabio Vieira, he was promised 3 years. So the project must be going bank in 3 years. I have no problem with that. We can win anything in those coming 3 years, right? We can win anything. So here, listen to me, guys. Saliba, Saka. Interesting conversations with Freddie Paxton. I think he's already told us that he has information that William Saliba has agreed to a deal. Even before Arsenal traveled to the USA, a deal has already been agreed and is already in place. We're expecting it to be penned with Bukayo Saka. Now, Fabrizio has always said that Arsenal look at him as a priority to stay. He's untouchable, but there is nothing confirming that at the moment he is signing a new deal. Let us hope that Arsenal will not make a huge announcement later and say, we have failed to agree with Saka. We wish him all the best. That would be the most heartbreaking story I've ever had in my life. I hope it doesn't happen, right? And then, moving on to the other transfer stories, I wanted us to discuss Martin Odegaard's comments on the captaincy. So he's been speaking around this one, and he said, look, listen, I am very, very happy to lead. I'm very, very happy to take on the responsibility as a leader, as a captain. I've done it for my country, and it is very, very exciting. It is a responsibility that I would actually take on if Mikel Arteta gave it to me. So this is what he said. I always enjoy the responsibility. I am a captain for my country, and it is a very nice experience. So I enjoy it. I don't know anything about the situation here, but I think that question is for Mikel Arteta and the club. But if he asks me, of course, I would really be happy to do it as captain. And he says this league is very, very tough, so you have to be your best. You have to be at your best every time you play. We have to use that in a good way. We need to use that anger and disappointment and take it into the season and show that we have improved, we have learned a lot, and hopefully we can do that now. But on the captaincy, I think Odegaard is absolutely right. He's done it with Norway, and that is one of the key determinants that he can do it actually, because like I said, Alexander Jenko is now captain for Ukraine. Odegaard is captain for Norway, right? So it's easy to point them out and say, we want the next leaders, and you guys are already doing it with your national teams. Probably there is something special you can provide us with. And I think there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing going for a player who's already done it, who's already achieved it at that level. And you say, you've done it. Why don't you do it again? I think it's absolutely right. Now, Arsenal and Atalanta are having an absolute war when it comes to Nuno Tavares. A deal is understood to be very close between Arsenal and Atalanta, but next week is going to be very crucial in determining whether Nuno Tavares leaves Arsenal club on a permanent deal, on a loan deal with an obligation to buy, or on a loan deal with an option to buy. So this is what has been happening. Atalanta have agreed a deal with Nuno Tavares, who is very keen now on a move to Italy, and Atalanta have told him, you are our priority. Wow, lovely. That is a lovely cajoling to get a signing. You are our priority this summer, and you're one of the most important deals we have to complete before the window shuts down. He has agreed to join them fully. Full verbal agreement in principle already on the table. Now, Arsenal have to discuss a deal with Atalanta, whether it's going to be a loan, permanent, or loan with obligation, or loan with option to buy. What Atalanta want is a loan deal with an option to buy. Arsenal are rejecting the option to buy, not because they want an obligation, which is very interesting. So that means there is something Mikel sees in Nuno Tavares, right? So they are not rejecting, we are not blocking that deal because we want an obligation. We are actually blocking that deal because we are not yet sure whether we should include an option to buy. But Arsenal would also be very happy to sell Nuno Tavares at around 25-30 million euros. I think that would be a very good deal. Arsenal bought him at 10. If you can sell him at 25, that's around 15 million euros profit. If you sell him at 30, that's around 20 million euros profit. That is no bad deal, is it? Now, PSV have also released their stance on Cody Gakpo. They are not selling. They're still in the qualifying rounds of the UEFA Champions League, and they believe they can get there. So they feel selling is not the best option right now, as they still have a couple of important games in the UEFA qualifying round. And I think that is true. When you look at how they've kept their players, like I said at the beginning of the video, yeah, they've done a good job. Sungare is still there. Nodi Mukiele is still there. Cody Gakpo is there. Captain Okan Kokun is still there. They're doing a good job. Yeah, but I'll speak to you in the next one, and I'll tell you whether I think Gakpo will stay or will go.